Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Pittsburgh, PA. Game 2 of pool play here in the Premier Ice Prospects Labor Day Festival. The Minnesota Junior Whitecaps against Little Caesars. That's right, pizza. Here for Game 2 of pool play for both of them. The Whitecaps coming off of a dominating 8-0 win this morning. And Little Caesars coming off of a shootout win this morning. Player of the game this morning, of no doubt, Miss Leighton Cragness with 4 goals and an assist. I don't know that it showed up that way in the final scoring, as a couple of the scores were off. I think they took away one of her goals, but that's what I had. Lamantia with a goal and 2 assists, and Solonic with 3 assists, I think, and a couple more points along the way. Jenny a goal. I think Josie Nelson had one. It was a solid game, but enough of the history. Let's deal with the present, and that is Little Skeezies in the sky blue and orange sweaters, the visiting team, the home whites for the Junior Whitecaps, who now got 2 of their players here at the tournament. This morning they were missing Miss Audrey Nichols, number 27, Grace Garby, number 25, who came in today, flew this morning, as they had varsity soccer game last evening for Holy Family. But they are here in the rink on the ice, just finishing warm-ups and ready to round out that lineup, which will now equate to 9 forwards, 5 defense, 2 goalies, looks like 2 coaches on the bench, and 1 live streamer. Pucks are coming in. We're about to get ready to go. It is 3 periods, 15 minutes each. Second game of pool play. Whitecaps trying to go 2-0. We'll see what the lineups do. Mills is playing forward this morning. My understanding is she'll go back to defense, where she's been playing most recently. Nichols and Garby will play likely center and wing appropriately. We'll see who rounds out their line as their right winger. Looks like Miss Ruby Simmet, number 29, headed into net for the first half of this game. They split it in half. I assume that will continue. And it looks like, Miss Leighton Cragness starting out at center with Wagner and Genia at the wing. Noble and Mills starting off at defense. Simmet in net, and we are off. I'm getting to zoom in. And fired right off the bat by Wagner. Glove save, eye level by number 30 in net for Little Caesars. Well, this will be a dangerous line here with Cragness centering Wagner and Genia. Genia shot off. Oh! And the puck came out. A defender tried to scoop it up and almost knocked it in herself. But at the last second was able to tip it outside the left post. It'll stay deep for Cragness. Drops it back to Wagner. Wagner, it's out front. Genia stick on it. Goalie splayed out and gets some level of pad over it to get the whistle. Couple of opportunities at the doorstep for the Whitecaps. That will change them out. And it looks like we're going to get the Moose line stay together. It is Newman at center with Riley Ambuel on the left and Audrey Lamantia on the right. That face-off trickled right into the net for a cover. They'll do it again. Noble and Mills still in at defense. Tip back to Noble. Tried to send it to the corner, misfired. And a whistle. A trip. And I didn't see it, but it is on Noble. So it looks like after she misfired on the pass, and tripped up a Little Caesars player, and that will leave Whitecaps shorthanded. That'll send Lamant to the bench. They'll bring on an extra defender, Caven. It looks like Caven and Solonic are in for the PK with Newman and Ambule. Out to the point, firing. Kick stop by Ambule. I never got an update. Now it's coming out Newman on whether or not Ambule got her sticks back from Idaho. She flew to Pittsburgh. Her sticks went to Idaho. And Caesar sending it in on the power play. They are 1.5-minute power plays, 52 seconds left in this one. They'll get it back out to the point. Send it back on the wall. It gets to the circle, picked up by Little Caesars, drops it back to number 87. Shot blocked by Ambule again, putting the pressure on. And gets it and sends it in as the Little Caesars players run into each other. Little Caesars parents shaking their head to my right, going, what are we doing out there, folks? And here we see Nichols and Garrity in for the first time. They're still on the penalty kill for 15 seconds. They're holding it behind. That is sent up to Nichols just off the plane. She gets it knocked away from behind. And on the forecheck, power play expires. In comes Caroline Keatman to round out the line. Playing wing with Nichols and Garrity. And picked up Garrity. Settles it across. Nichols on her backhand. She's got one of the best backhanded shots you'll see in the Bills. That one finds the webbing of the left-handed glove for Little Caesars number 30. 12:25 left in a scoreless first period. Garrity cross ice. Noble bobbles it, comes out. Caven picking it up with pressure. And gets hit, but gets it out. And she'll pick it back up. Trying to center one into the side of the net. It's Nichols escaping. Oh, Garrity to Nichols. Back to Garrity. Tries to go back to the defense for Little Caesars with the steal. No numbers. They're on a change. And in comes Keatman to get some pressure. This is a bit more of a physical team than we saw this morning, it looks like, early on. And that one, Keatman sends it across to Garrity. Gets it over the red line, sends it in. She'll get off the ice. Nichols stays in on the forecheck. Pressure behind the net. And here's Jenia on the front door. On the back door, Wagner couldn't get that shot from 3 inches out up high enough. And now fired from further out, top of the left circle, was the shot by Solonic, and that one was held on to. Shots on net, according to the scoreboard, 7-0 in favor of the Whitecaps. Fired on, missed wide right. Cycling down low is Solana. She gets boarded up. Definitely a more physical Little Caesars team than we saw against the Boston Junior Eagles. Wagner trying to get a stick at it. Josie Nelson sends it towards the net with 5D. They are cycling through, I believe. That one is sent out, Little Caesars, but here comes Nelson in to pinch it off. Sends it back to the middle. Across to Wagner on the left side. He's going behind the net. To the circle, fires midsection. Held on to. Well, hopefully this is coming in all right for you folks. The Wi-Fi is certainly not nearly as strong as it was this morning, which looked like it went without a hitch, but I haven't seen any messages saying the stream is down, so hopefully we're good enough. Mill shot, and the rebound, score by Jr. Mills put it on net, bounced out front, and Jr. got a stick on it with the backhand to chip in the rebound. Jr.'s second of the day, one earlier this morning, and that gives the Whitecaps a 1-0 lead 5 minutes into this one. Let's see if I can actually get that on the scoreboard here. The Wi-Fi apparently on the iPad that I have to score it on is not working. Oh, and a penalty. I think it's going to be on Little Caesars. And it is. It'll be a power play for the Whitecaps. I didn't quite see it, but I'm guessing a body check into the boards is the call. That's what it sounded like, at least. I can't get this score up. Power play, Whitecaps with 10 minutes left in the first. Mills fired on net. That rebound was pushed to the side by Little Caesar, shorthanded. Manancia in, hits it high off the glass. Past Avio, and Caesars will break it out to the middle and send that in. That should be an icing, and it is. Okay. All right, now that should show the score. I'm going to log back in over there on the iPad. It's the one thing about this new app is I've got to score it on a separate device. That's what she said. Ambuel down low. Newman will chase it. Trying to drop it down to Lamantia. Can't. She's got pressure. And then that one iced out. We'll get a line change as the Newman line couldn't get much going there on the power play. First half of at least 47 seconds left in on it will be the Nichols line. Keatman on the left, Nichols and Garraby. And in comes Haven and Solonic at the blue line. Held up on the far boards. Nichols comes away with it. Keatman comes back out to the point. Haven to the side. Garraby back to Haven. We'll head over to Solonic. Back over to Garraby, who's cutting through. He's puck every turns. Fires. Stopped. And Little Caesars almost knocks it out. That is the end of the power play. Both teams at full strength. Tipped away from Nichols. Caesar is behind the net, running into their own player again. Trying to find a breakout. They do send it out, but Solonic picks it up. Waits for teammates to get on side and dumps it in. Here comes Wagner. In front of us. Knocked away. Wagner picks it back up, tripped up, and that'll be a power play for the Whitecaps on the whistle. 7:35 left in this first period, and it's another penalty on Little Caesars and another power play Fourth coming for the Whitecaps. It is the Cragness line. Jenny on the left. Wagner on the right for the faceoff at least. Nelson Mills behind him. That one flips across the crease into the far corner. Nelson surveying across ice. Mills has pressure, sends it down deep. Tipped away, and Little Caesar's going to be able to skate it out. Mills is back. And a penalty on the Whitecaps. That'll be on Mills. Let's see the actual hook, it looked like to me, but I thought he made a move for a cross check. Nope, it was a hook on Mills. And that will equal 4-on-4 hockey for the next minute. There's a minute left on the Little Caesars penalty, and as always, subject to further penalties. That'll leave Cragness to take the draw. Fired on, pad saved. First shot that Simmett has seen. 4-on-4 is the drill. Genia trying to get through traffic, cannot. Loose puck comes out the cave-in. Tried to pass it up front to Cragness. It's still loose. Little Caesars picks it up. Going to skate it up and get it across the blue line and then get boarded up hard and then puck into the rear side of her for insult to injury. That'll get a couple new Whitecap skaters on. It'll be Lamantia and getting through, and Newman tipped away. The net comes off, and they'll keep playing as the official gets it back on. Newman with it in the corner, coming across Simmett's face. Getting across the blue line. Right back out. Lamantia couldn't get out of, Lamantia couldn't get out of her way. In comes Solonic. First shot off the pad. Quick little slapper by Newman, and that held on to. It is, I guess, for the last 15 seconds, been a power play for Little Caesars as their penalty expired. So it is 5-on-4 for another 14 seconds. Little Caesars gets it out. And number 11 coming to speed. Solonic on it. We'll leave it for Nelson. Comes up to Newman, who sends it in. Will get off. Ambule is now on. Little Caesars on the move at the feet of Nelson. Playing the body. On it from behind by Lamantia, goes into the corner. And a whistle. I don't know if that's a penalty or if just a stuck puck. I'm not sure. Looks like they just whistled it dead up against the boards. And that should get some changes on both sides. Both teams at full strength. 5:04 left in the first. It is 1-0 Whitecaps. Genia with the goal. Keatman on the move. Off the board, and it was a little too early. That's an icing. Get a little look here at the Minnesota crowd. There's Bjorn and Bish. Always love the sibling time. Mills in the corner. Nichols. Nichols comes away with it. Finding Keatman. into the neutral zone, cross the red, cross the blue. Try to go through the defender's skate. It leaves a loose puck out there. And tipped out. Mills racing to get there first, and Will dumps it back for Noble up the board. Caesars hangs on just inside the blue line, tries to get it towards the net. Stop, drop down, and then a block shot by Mills. That one out across the Garrity, tipped away at center ice. Caesars in their own zone. Kind of tipping around. It'll be Garrity getting to the slot. Her shot was blocked. And coming out, it'll be Caven picking it up. She's on the move with speed up the right side. Nichols out front. They cycle through, trying to find Wagner. Wagner now taking it around the boards. Looks like she will head back to the point, right back to Wagner. Sends it down low. Jenia chipped away, but regroups and holds it at the half wall. Caesar sends it out into center ice. And we pick up Solonic. Coming back, finding Jenny at the blue line. Centering pass knocked in the air. And caught out of the air, and on the move is number 98, firing a shot into the gullet of Josie Nelson, who just came off the bench, and that's offside on Skeezies. 2:54 remain in this opening period. 1-0. Minnesota, it says shots on net 13-0, but I know that's not true. I've seen at least one. I think there were a couple on for Little Caesars. There was 7-1. Fragmus up to Jania. Sends it in. And Wagner coming in, finding it out front and backhanded. Jenny couldn't handle that one cleanly out front. Pass had some heat on it. Jenny now trying to get a possession of the puck in the corner. Fragmus was looking for Wagner at F3. Mills trying to send it deep, but can't. Little Caesars coming out the other way. Sent in. It'll spin its way into the corner. Mills will check the traffic around her and send it over to Nelson up. And in Caesar's zone. And looks like the Newman line is now back in. Nancy on the forecheck in the corner, trying to get possession. Nope, Newman coming in to help. Gets all the way out to the point. Newman on the backhand sends it to the corner. Follows it up. Ambule trying to wrangle it in, does. Cuts through, nice move. Oh, was looking for Lamantia on the right side, and the defender got a piece of it. Ambule lost an edge. That one fired by Caven, knocked down by a defender, goes to the far side, kept in by Noble. Caesar's in the corner, trying to get it up, and it goes off the stick of Noble, and a nice job by Caven getting back, sending it back over to Noble, comes out, and that is offside. 1 minute left. 1 minute left in period one. It's been a little sloppier than we saw in this morning's game where things were firing on all cylinders, but a much more physical Little Caesars team here. Nichols just pushing it in and trying to get through the defense through a track of time. She'll pick it back up and fire it down low. Keatman trying to get there. Garrity can't get it back to the point. We'll now look for Keatman down low. A lot of gritty battles behind the goal lines here in the first period. Garrity turning, firing off the blocker. Caesar's on the move, too far ahead, and that'll be offside on the Whitecaps. 16.3 left. Defenders swapping out. Nelson and Solonic coming in. And they'll go to center ice, it appears. 27 versus 27. And Nichols comes away with it. Garby to her left. But the defense was there, a 2v2. 5 seconds left. Keatman was trying to get it up to Nichols, and that will expire the first period. 1-2-0. Jenia with the rebound goal off the shot from Mills. Jenia from Mills, the only scoring so far. It is a warm rink here as well. Tough game for the girls who both teams have played a morning game. Probably a little tired, went and had lunch, now a little sleepy. Now you're playing in a warm arena, hotter than they're used to. This one's going to be a little bit more of a sludge match. At least it was so far in the first. Again, no resurfacing here at the 14U level during these first games. Whitecaps being head coached by Jeff Burton. Don't have much history on him. Selected by the OS. I don't know if he normally runs OS programs or coaching or just a friend of the program, but he's been called on for this weekend here in Pittsburgh for the Junior Whitecaps 14U here at the Premier Ice Prospects Labor Day Fest. OS got another team of 2011s out in Boston this weekend, wishing them a great weekend as well in Beantown. Number 30 staying in net for Little Caesars. You've got Simmet staying in net for the Whitecaps. You have the Cragness line coming back out to start, along with Nelson and Solonic. Second period is off, and running a shot on net. Puck loose behind the net. Caesars across the red line into the Whitecap zone. Solonic with a body rub. Cragness looking for somewhere to go with it. It'll go off of Wagner's skate and into the zone. Jenny picking up the loose puck. Back to Wagner. Tried a backhanded wraparound, but the goalie had that one shut down against the left post, her right, and nothing doing. Caesar's going to go with the swap. Whitecaps remain. 47 seconds into the second period. Side. Josie Nelson that went off of a stick and up over the boards out of play. Coach Jeff Burton with a quick step off the bench to get that one. Folks, I don't know him well, but he still got it. A quick first step from the bench getting that puck, let's say. Slap shot from Wagner was knocked down. Loose puck bouncing around. Wagner got a stick on it eventually. Another backhanded attempt, but held on to in net. That'll get a swap, and here comes the Newman line. They haven't got much cooking so far. A lot of action this morning, not much so far. And here comes Noble, turning firing wide right. Ambule stopping that one at the back check at mid-ice. Newman picking it up. She has pressure. Up off the board, looking for Ambule. Lamantia was guarded. Ambule couldn't get one over and just fires it in off of a stick, and it'll be covered up. And Ambule's going, "What are you doing? Get open, Lamantia." I agree. She's skating alongside the Little Caesars defender and needed to find some space to catch a pass. Newman wins it back. Noble. Down low, Ambule. Newman comes across side of the net, picking up the defense. Lamantia trying to get to the corner. The beater does. Sends it back the other way. And a little collision. And Newman can't hold it inside. We have to send it back to Mills, back to Noble. Coming across, lost it right in front. That will trickle in, and Simmet will drop the mid on top of it. And that'll get a change. Again, another struggle of a shift for the Newman line. Newman, Ambule, and Lamantia not able to get much cooking. There's the Nichols line. Two of them might be freshly off a plane. That's when we stopped Cragness, who got in late last night, landing after 12:30 a.m. and still had 4 goals and an assist at 8:30 this morning. Keatman getting it back up to Nichols. Oh! And tripped up by the goalie's skate as she was going. She had her beat. I was ready to call the goal. I've seen her score on that 9 out of 10 times. And had the goalie beat, that would have went in. But as Nichols was trying to just tap the backhand in after beating the goalie, looked like she tripped up on the goalie's skate. Whether intentional or not, saved the goal. And it remains 1-0. That one comes all the way out, and it'll be played. The puck slowed down. Mills comes away with it, finds Nelson. Nelson looking to go off the board to Wagner behind everybody. And here she goes. Body, and a great job by number 7 coming back to get a piece of that. Normally Wagner able to get through that contact. She did, but it was enough to bump her off and not get a shot off cleanly. Jenny now finding Wagner out front, couldn't get the shot. And that one coming out of the zone, Cragness tracking. Sends it over to Nelson. Firing it up to Jenny. She's going to take it in herself. Trying to get Cragness. Got it. Got the move to the backhand, but then couldn't get on it to tip it in again. These defenders stay on you. They don't give up on the plane. Did just enough to disrupt again. The season on the move. Jenny steals and fires it in, but offside, and that'll get a line change. Bring in the Newman line. 10:46 left here in the second. So shots on net 22-1 in favor of the Whitecaps. Again, there's been at least one more shot, if not a couple more, by Little Caesars. But it's still only 1-0. As Little Caesars is a tough physical team, and they get back and don't give up on plays. We've had them beat a couple times. Newman turning around, and then that one almost slipped 5-hole as she followed up on her own shot. Lamantia in the corner to Newman, back to Lamantia in short space, and Lamantia just gets out physical in the corner. That one comes out to Caven. Caven to Newman. To Ambule. Her shot blocked. Loose puck. Noble shot was blocked. And Little Caesars on the move. Third score. Number 12 for Little Caesars. And ties it up here in the second with 9:59 remaining. Nichols almost scored her last shift. Gets around that time, turns into the chest pad on that shot. And Nichols with a takedown. He's puck in front of the Whitecaps bench. Caesar's on the move. Finding Keatman, she's 1v1. Making a move, she gets tripped up, no call. To try to jump around the defender. Big hit by number 91, Keatman, and that will be a penalty and a power play for Little Caesars after tying it up. Keatman putting on the big hit behind the Little Caesars net on number 20, and she'll take a minute and a half in the penalty box to think about it. And so for the PK, we've got Nichols, Garrity, Mills, and Noble out to start it. And several penalties on both sides here so far this game. Whitecap goal was on a power play. Even strength for Little Caesars just a minute ago. Noble with the hit, and they want a penalty called on Noble. Doesn't happen. That one fired and knocked away by their own winger. That one gets on net. Things are physical right now. This one is getting chippy. You can almost see it coming with how physical the play's been. In comes Wagner and Cragness. Replace Nichols and Garrity. Noble and Mills remain. Simmett still in net. She's probably got a minute or two left before they change out to Milinkovic. Back to the point for Caesars. And a great job, Wagner. Got a piece of it. Does come out, and I think it was an offside. I think that must have came back over. And I think Wagner put a little bit of a body into number 5, who's slow to get up and shaking it off. Caesars controlling. I just noticed the helmet. It's actually had the pizza guy on him. And Caesars with pressure by Wagner. Comes away with the puck in the corner. It gets to the side of the net and covered, and then a push from behind. And Cragness takes the drop after it. A little retaliation from the other side, perhaps. And there's a warning from both benches from this official. Said, I've seen enough out front. I've had it. He said both sides have been issued a warning for the pushing in front after the whistle. That comes out. Solonic off the glass. It'll be, nope, it does get out. And here comes Avery Wagner with speed across. Cragness back to Wagner, and didn't get through traffic. She was there, would have been a goal. And here comes 87 through. Caven trying to get there. Turn fired off the chest pad. And Caven drops the rebound off to the side. Both teams now at full strength as it is expired. In comes Jr. Loose puck and scored. Number 18 found the loose puck and puts it in. It's 2-1 Little Caesars. .7:26 left in the second period. A turn of events after having one shot on net. Little Caesars gets two. That was technically even strength. The power play had just ended, and Jenny had just come on the ice, getting into the play, and they found a loose puck and put it in. Milinkovic now comes in on that whistle after the goal and is now in net. That one chipped out of play. Milinkovic now in net for the Whitecaps. She'll take it the rest of the way with 7:18 left here in the second period. It is the Newman line out. They've got to get something going. Held up on the near boards. Ambuel comes away with it. Sends it towards the net. I thought that was Newman that did. Ambuel drops it down. Romantia trying to get there. Won't in time. Into the corner. Just some physical banging going on. That one fired goes behind Lamantia. Misses left on the net. Lamantia gets there, but she's going to be boarded up. Gets taken down, and she's got to learn that physicality. She's not handling it well. Here comes number 13, Nelson, defending, and boards her up. Mills will pick up the loose puck coming across. Lamantia fires it out, icing. And they do whistle it. Nichols line back out. 6:20 left in the second. Caesars through to D. Stays in the zone. Back to the point, number 5 fires. Milinkovic saves, tried to slip it to the corner. Stays by the side of the net. Coming out, Caven's going to pick it up. She's on the move. She's up the right, 2v2. Keaton to her left. Stays onside barely. By the toe of the blade. And that one kicked back into the corner. Out, Noble drops it over. Caven racing over to get there. Keatman at mid-ice. And that one was a dead up here against the crack in the boards. And stuck underneath, I think. Nichols line stays out. Solonic and Josie Nelson coming out at defense. Caesars control. Number 7, Thomas for Little Caesars with it. There's that pass. Misses everyone. Solonic up to Keatman off the boards. And an icing is on and called. Nichols was trying to get there before it hit the goal line and about a half step late. 5:11 and left in the second. First time trailing in the tournament so far for the Whitecaps. They might be experiencing their jet lag after cruising this morning. Garrity trying to get it to Nichols, cannot. Caesar sending it the other way, 98, 2-on-1, can't get it over. Nelson finding Nichols, crossing through, getting around the defender, getting to the front, and stoned. Loose puck. That one slammed into the side and held on to. Pad up against that left post by number 30, and she's hanging tough over there. It's the Cragness line now in with Noble and Mills. Puck out of the zone. Noble has 2 on her. The boards for Jr. Cragness comes away with it. Trying to find it. Now misfired on the pass. Wagner was trying to get up past the defense and had a step. Cragness to Wagner. The shot was stopped by a stick and doesn't get much on it. Little Caesars are finding ways to negate the speed of Whitecaps with physical play. Jenny on the back check. Tips it up out in the center ice. Offside. Nope, they don't call it. And it leads to a 2-on-1 the other way. Fired. Glove save, Milinkovic. Was going right above her helmet. She got the glove up. 3:45 left in the second. Newman line coming out. Shifts are getting a little shorter here as I think Coach Burton and team look realizing the squad looks a little more gassed. Ambulo firing to Lamantia. She's on the move, taking it wide right. Trying to find Newman just off her stick. Ambulo can't get the handle on it, and that one across ice is going to come out of his zone to Caven. Caven gets knocked off it, and that leads to numbers the other way. Turning, firing, kick save, Milinkovic to Ambulo. Ambulo to Lamantia, back to Ambulo. Ambulo up the left side. Was looking for somewhere to center it to. Couldn't find a passing lane. It goes into the corner. Sent up, it's loose. Lamantia can't get there in time, and Caesars ices it out. Off the board, it may not be an icing as it's slowly spinning. It's waved off, and Caesars gets there first. Finding the girl in the middle, turning, firing, and gloved up Milinkovic. That'll bring in the Nichols line, although it's been Garrity taking the face-offs here since the first period. Whitecaps trailing. And that one comes through. Keepman! Couldn't get it up ahead. Nichols would have been there by herself. Garrity now entering the zone, sending it to the corner. But that D back there is solid for Little Caesars. And that one got past Josie Nelson, who was trying to stop it in the neutral zone. Mills holding things up behind the net in the corner. Mills firing it around the boards, and it went right to the Caesars defense. And Whitecaps just can't clear the zone. 87 cycling through, turning, misfires. And the Whitecaps look gassed. Chasing the puck around at this point. They need a breather. Minute 36 left in the second period. Want to get away without giving up another goal and regroup. Nelson just tips it out. Here comes Nichols. Let's see if she can get there. Does. Try to pull it back to the middle. Good defense. And a good job being physical by Nichols. Garrity on her backhand. Loose. And knocked away. Coming all the way out of his zone. 1:08 left. It'll be Caven picking it up, circling back. And turned over. Caesars in the zone, firing. Gloved up Milinkovic. A lot of look of anxiety on the Minnesota parents here as it's been a rough second period, to say the least. Pragnus line out. Wagner can't, or Jenia can't tip it out. Tipped up to Jenia. She does a little hip check. 43 seconds left at Little Caesars. No, turned over. Jenia turning, firing. It's loose. Noble sends it back down to Jenia. Nope, that was 24-94 by Pragnus and Jenia throwing me off. That was Pragnus in the corner. Now Wagner. Jenia is going to try to get there on the forward check, but they do a good job of finding the back door out of pressure. Good job by Caven holding. And nice job by Jenia holding, getting it in, but it gets to Wagner. Loose puck. Oh, and pulled away by the Little Caesars defender. Loose on the doorstep. Now number 13 coming the other way. Solonic back defending, and that is the end of the period. And a little extra, Josie Nelson giving 13 a little shove after the buzzer, and Little Caesars parents saying, what is that? And frustration mounting for the Minnesota Junior Whitecaps. They will take a breather and see if Coach Jeff Burton can settle things down. A tough second period that sees Little Caesars take the lead 2-1 after being down 1-0 after one. Junior Whitecaps looked a little gassed. Got a couple players flying today, one that got in late last night, and things could be catching up to the Minnesota squad against a physical Little Caesars team. Shots on net officially on the board, 30-12 in favor of the Junior Whitecaps, but the tide definitely turned there in the second period, and Little Caesars have the lead. Well, we know we've got some scores on this squad, so not too worried, but the forecheck that put so much pressure on the Junior Eagles from Boston this morning is not working as well on Little Caesars. They are finding a way out of the pressure and breaking out of their zone. I think the warm rink isn't helping things. I get it, though. Both teams are playing in the same conditions. We'll see if Minnesota can get their groove back in the third. Looks like the Newman line coming out to start the third. Solonic and Nelson. Defense, Milinkovic back in the net to finish off the third. Wheel off. Newman coming through, tipping it in. Trying to get it back to the defense. Solonic sends it back down low. Lamantia trying to wrangle it, pushing it over to Ambuel. Back to Lamantia, but they just can't get out of that pressure. And coming out for Caesars. Solonic picks it up. Tries a drop pass, but it's stuck on the net. Nelson Can't get it. And this loose out front comes out to Little Caesars, turning, firing, and a kick save, Milinkovic. Lamantia tips it to the blue line. It does come out and offside. Gareby line out. Gareby holds it in. All the way in. Noble will pick it up. Pressure on her right away. She will get by it, and she's on the move. Going up the left-hand side. Deep with it, but lost the handle. Mills trying to hold near side. Minute and a half into this third. Has come out. Nichols tries to get it across ice and it'll come out. Nichols will regroup. Flips it across ice to Keatman. Keatman up, trying to get it to Gareby, cannot. And Little Caesars out the other way. Caven chips it away. Gets it up to Nichols entering the zone. To the middle, turning, fired too high. Just missed. That puck flipping around, comes back out to Solana. Sends it past Gareby into the corner. And Caesars able to get it out. Caven defending. And a nice job by Nichols with the poke check. Sends it up to Gareby. Dropped it back, though, right to Little Caesars. And sent back in. Caven fires it around the boards. Getting a change in Jenia, who just came in, gets a piece of that one. All the momentum in Little Caesars' favor right now, continuing from the second period. Wagner, Jenia. She's going wide right. Tried the toe drag, but tipped away by number 11. Mills reaches out to pick that one up. Tips it up. There's nowhere. Jenia will fire it in. Magnus sends it back up along the boards. Wagner in the corner to Jenia. Jenia across the circle, drops it back. It'll be Magnus and comes back to the point. Nelson can't get the shot off. Jenia gets it up. Wagner turning off the chest pad. Jenia back to Mills. Fires that one. It goes into Wagner. It's loose. Gets back to Mills again. Slap shot. Redirected off Wagner's stick, but right into the chest pad and hung on to. Couple chances there. Whitecaps can't tie it up. 11-10 left in regulation. No overtime here. It goes to a shootout. Three-person shootout if it was a tie. Newman line in. Mills' shot was blocked. Corner, it's Nelson trying to get it down. Ambiel wrangles it. Trying to get one across to Newman, but intercepted. Loose puck. Little Caesars coming away with it. And chipped out by Nelson. And kept in. It's Newman trying to get it out front. Little Caesars got a piece of it now. Ambiel goes around the board to Newman. Goes cross ice. Shot fired off the chest pad loose. Newman picking it back up. Goes back to Noble again, but it was in the air and she couldn't settle it down. Caven will come back. off the board. And gets to Heatman, who just came in. Sends it across, but right to Little Caesars again. Here comes Nichols, turning, firing too high. Here's Puck Noble, chips it up to Nichols. Momentum coming the wrong way. She's got traffic to give it up to Garrity. Circling. Gets it up to Josie Nelson. Toe drag move. Centers one, but knocked away. Heatman. And it comes out. Little Caesars racing. Nelson getting back into play. 9 minutes left. Back to the point for Little Caesars. Sends it back to the corner. Up high off the glass. Nichols fires it across. It comes out. And a nice job offside with the interception, but Nichols couldn't stay on side. And that will bring in the Cragness line with 8:42. There's one where you'd love to see Avery Wagner get something out front. Gets a piece of that one. Does Wagner. Tries to get it back to the D, but not enough on it. Goes up into the Little Caesars bench. Out of play. Nobody looking exceptionally great for Minnesota at the moment. Cragness to Wagner. Have to unload Genia. Trying to get it to Wagner, but a good stick by the defense. Slap shot. Loose up front. Covered up. Genia. Try to put it right into the side of the net. Wagner out front. Loose cleared. Wagner comes away with it. Turns, fires into the glove. Cragness on the dot, 7:49 left. Genia drops it back to Wagner, past her. Knowles can't get it deep. As Wagner finds Genia. 2v2. To the middle, off the stick of Cragness. Coming out. Caven. With speed. Turn, scores! Finley Caven with the snipe, upper left hand corner. Put it on the board. Yes, it's tied up. Finley Caven said enough's enough, and it's tied up, folks, with 6:59 left. Let's see if this gives the Whitecaps what they need to fire on and finish this one off. A little bit of jump in their step. Newman line now coming in. Solonic can't get the pass up. Caesar's in. We've got a break. Come back to the middle. Turn fired. Milinkovic. Elbow save. Up off the board. Lamantia's got to get there. Does. And it goes off her stick. It'll get back to Caven. Goes across the Solonic. Up to Newman. Settling things down over the red line. Over to Lamantia at her skates. Kicks it over to the left. Amblo picks it up. She'll take it down low. Try to get to the front. Backhand. Loose out front. Was trying to slip through the 5-hole, but couldn't. Wagner wanted Riley to let that one rip, and you can't argue with that. You can yell it this way. Loose puck. Nelson got knocked down up front. It's on the doorstep momentarily. Caesar's skating it out. Nichols at the stop. Up the left side, though. Loose puck. Nichols up to Keatman. Can't get it out, and held on to number 13 with it. We'll go behind the goal line for number 19. She's surveying, coming across to the defense. Number 11 getting a shot off, sticked away by Milinkovic. Coming out to the blue line, that one fired, and Mills knocks it down. Kept in by Caesars. There it is. Around the board, it's going to get to Keatman. She just pushes it out. And here comes Derby. She's one-on-one. Turning, lost and trying to turn to the middle. 5:20 left. And iced out by Caesars. And it is whistled. 5:10 remain. That will get the Cragness line back out. And let's see if we can take the lead. Offensive zone face-off forthcoming. 5:10 left. Cragness. Also the practice line. We just let him in every once in a while. That one fired on net. Cragness down low to Genia. Back to Cragness. Wagner out front. Drops it back down to Genia. Cycling through. Turning, firing off the pads. Going to come out to the left side. Noble will settle it down. And it came out. 4:44 remaining, and that one slipped over the blue line. Back to Noble. Haven finding the stick of Wagner. She's going to go wide left. Can she beat her? Lost the handle. She got towards the net. 4.5 left. That one out front. Fired from the side. We got a lot of girls just tipping it. There's a penalty on Genia for a trip, I believe. Nope, a hook is the call, and it's a power play for Little Caesars with 4:16 left in this game. Lamantia and Newman coming out with Nelson and Solonic to try to kill this minute and a half off. Newman getting a piece of it and sends it. You can't ice it here on that. And they'll go back to the Minnesota zone with 4:05 left. And that one and knocked all the way through. Newman coming on her, bearing on her. And a whistle. What's the call? Couldn't have been offside as Newman was the only one on, but there's a neutral zone puck drop. I don't know what that was. Sent in by Solonic. High off the glass. That one will not come out. Fired on, too far left. Trying to whip it out was Lamantia. It doesn't go. That time she does, and it doesn't get out. Good save by Little Caesars. Nelson will get one out, and that is going to go through. They're going to get a change on that one. 3:01 left, 14 seconds left on the Caesars power play. Here comes Ambule. She makes the steal at center ice. Getting it over to Nichols. She's on her backhand. Can't get past the defender and into the corner, and they're going to whistle it held up or a penalty. Too many? I think they're calling too many on Little Caesars. I think that's the call. No, what was the call there? Okay, it was too many. But I was waiting. Nobody was going to the penalty box, so I was getting thrown off on what that was. But it is a penalty. It is 4-on-4 for 2 seconds as Minnesota's penalty about to expire. It does. Power play now for the Whitecaps. Comes out and Nichols wrangles it. Too far ahead. Comes up out of play. Got one of the Boston teams waiting to get on ice next. 2:32 left. 1:15 on the power play. It'll be in the neutral zone for the Whitecaps. Garby on the draw. Held up at her feet. Little Caesars comes away with it. Got through the defense. And a penalty. A hook on Mills, and that'll even things back out with 2:20 left. $104 left on the Little Caesars penalty, a fresh 130 on the Madison Mills penalty, and it's 4-on-4 with 2:20 left, tied up at 2. Hold up on the dot. Caven picks it up in front of the net. Sauces it up, goes by Caven. Should be an icy, and it is. Here comes Caven. Over the red line, over the blue line. Back to the middle and tipped away. Garby getting a piece of it. Can't clear the zone. It gets up to Keatman. He's got to get over the red line. Does. Just needed to get that one in deep. Cannot. Both girls go into the boards. Hope everyone's all right. Looks like they're getting up. Little Caesars controlling. Noble in the corner dumps it, but nobody home for the Whitecaps. And they got a girl wide open on the back door, trying to get it to her. Too late. Fired it across to Garrity. She gets a shot through. Nelson in. 1 minute left. Nelson getting it to the doorstep, but locked up. 58.4 left. 8 seconds left on the Mills penalty, and then both teams will be at full strength with 50 seconds left. You've got Kragness and Wagner out there right now. Nelson and Noble. Need pressure. He's out of his own. And the Whitecaps just can't get possession of the puck. That one gets to Jenia. Tries to send it up to Wagner, knocked away by Little Caesars. Both teams at full strength, 30 seconds left. Number 7 getting through, but a nice poke check by Nelson. Can't get it out. Little Caesars. And here comes Jenia. She's on the move. Slapper scored! Wagner! It's 3-2. Rebound goal! Off the rebound on Jenia's shot, and Wagner gives them the lead with 14.7 left. It's 3-2. Jr Whitecaps. It hasn't been a pretty one, but Whitecaps take the lead with 14.7. Can they hold on? No timeouts available in pool play. And here comes Kragness taking the draw. Wagner dumping it off the board. Caesars will get it in. Holding it, Caven trying to get it out. Up to Wagner, tips it out. It won't make it in. All the way for an icing. Wagner gets it again. She's just trying to eat it against the board. And that's the game. Minnesota Jr Whitecaps with the win, 3-2. Well, folks, it was a doozy. We're happy to get out of that one and get some rest because it was a tough game, a physical game. But some grit by the Jr Whitecaps coming back after being up 1-0, down 2-1 after 2. Finley Caven tying it up, and with 14.7 seconds left, Wagner rebound off of Jenia, and it's 3-2. Whitecaps go to 2-0. We'll see you back tomorrow morning. I don't remember the time. I want to say it's like 10:30 Eastern time, so a little bit later Saturday morning. But as always, check your local